Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are things in your world? I hope good, guys. This is going to be a fairly long one. And for that reason, let's say up front that if you're new to the channel, if you're new to these videos, you should know right away that I'm making it all up off the top of my head. So if you like improv humor, if you like watching somebody try to create something and fail miserably, like a high wire act, like that guy that was the high wire walker, and he walked across that volcano. Well, what if he fell in? That would be me creating videos. That's how it goes. So, so with that in mind, we're going to talk about Jacksonville, Florida. It's the latest in a series of videos we've been doing all last week, and I'm going to continue this week because there's just so much to cover, and 1 week wasn't enough. And Jacksonville, of course, one of the hidden assets of Florida that a lot of people know of but don't know that much about, and that's why it's fun to do these videos, because you learn about things that you want to discover more. And so on this particular video, we're going to talk about hidden gems in Jacksonville, because all week I've been getting contacted by people. Hey, Joe, we're watching the videos, and they send me a text, they send me an email, they send me a carrier pigeon message, and they said, just give us the hidden gems, man. Give us the inside dope. And what's good about me doing it is reporting on it is that I get down into the nooks and crannies, the streets and avenues, and talk to the people and find out the real skinny so that you get the information you need. It's not one of these fly-by travel shows where they just go to two of the hot spots and then they're off to Gainesville. No, we're gonna give you the information. That's why we might go long on this one, and that's why the long preamble. So let's get to it. Hidden gems in Jacksonville. Sit right back, and I'll tell you a tale. All right, here we go. The hidden gems of Jacksonville, Florida. These are things that you may know about if you're from the area, but it's really geared toward people from outside the area that want to, when they visit and potentially want to live there, they want to know what the locals know that most visitors don't. Now, part of it is they want to get on Instagram and take a picture of these places, and so they can look cool in front of their friends. In fact, isn't that really the whole purpose of Instagram, is to try to look cool in front of your friends? And that's why you have, if you look at on Reddit, they have a part of Reddit called Instagram Reality. Reddit.com/Instagram Reality. And just get on there and you'll see how they compare photos of people, real photos, versus their doctored Instagram photos. And the difference is striking and somewhat terrifying. And we also learned that many people don't know how to use Photoshop. Not that I do, but I'm just saying I'm not up there faking it. I'm out there warts and all, man. Warts and all. So the first hidden gem that we're going to talk about is the Jacksonville Lotto Mall. Now, there are shopping malls and there's lotteries. At the Jacksonville Lotto Mall, you can buy lottery tickets for a lottery that takes place every hour in the mall. And then if you win, and your odds of winning are very good because few people know about this, your odds of winning are very good, then you can only buy products within that mall. See how it works? You can't just cash out your lottery ticket and say, okay, goodbye, I'm going to go buy a car down there in Key West. No. So the way it works is you buy a lottery ticket in the mall. There's hourly winners, and then those winners have to spend the money in that mall. You don't have to spend it that same day, but you can only buy stuff in that mall. And what it does is it forces the retailers and the store owners and the brands to provide unique items to the suddenly cash flush winners of different lottery games. It's really an interesting concept, and very few people know about it. And because very few people know about it, your chances of winning are very, very good, guys. And so if you're a lottery player, if you like to get on there and play the lotto, this is a really good place for you. I'm not kidding. You should. It's the Jacksonville Lotto Mall. Now just get on the Google machine and get the directions, but a lot of people don't know about it. So, for example, just last week, a guy won $30,000 in one of the hourly games. It was just a scratch off. He just won 30 grand on a simple scratch off that is tallied every hour. So every hour that the mall is open, they they pull a lotto ticket on one of the games, and somebody wins every hour. I mean, it's really a pretty good concept when you think about it. So he spent his 30 grand in the very next hour. He bought a boat. There's a boat dealer in the Jacksonville Lotto Mall. He bought a boat with his 30 grand, a fishing boat. And if you get up on the Jacksonville Lotto Mall Instagram, you'll see this guy on his fishing boat fishing. It's one of those, bass fishing boats, you know what I'm talking about, where they can stand up and then they have the chair there and the place for your dog. And he's loving it. He said he's won 2 bass fishing tournaments in the 2 weeks following his winnings of the boat. It's just, I mean, the stories that are coming out of this place. In fact, because they're on the gram and they're on all social media, but for some reason, people from outside of Jacksonville don't know about it. It's just not getting to play, and that's why it's a hidden gem. And in fact, this is a story that you'll hear over and over about all of these hidden gems that I'm talking about. So that's number one, the Lotto Mall. Now, number 2 is Friday Night Fights. Friday Night Lights. That's what it's called. Friday Night Fights, Friday Night Lights. Now, some people say Friday Night Lights, Friday Night Fights. Okay, but it doesn't really matter. So, in the fall, during high school football season, right, that's where the Friday Night Lights, because Florida, much like much of the South, is a big football area. And high school football, I mean, if you're a high school football player, you're a god among kids in Florida, and especially in Jacksonville. I mean, let's say you're a high school quarterback. You not only get the use of a rental car for free your entire senior year, you not only get a trip for 2 to Aruba that you can use on spring break of your senior year, you not only get a free membership at 24-hour Fitness, and in fact, if you're the quarterback, they'll keep it open for longer than that. They'll keep it open 28 hours a day just so you can get over there and get in your workout. If you're the quarterback, you will get free tires for your whole family from one of the biggest tire dealers in Jacksonville. And none of this is considered illegal or immoral. It's just considered the natural state of affairs. And even if you're just on the high school team itself, I mean, there's been skinny guys like me that have fought and lifted weights and did everything they could to get on a high school team in Jacksonville because they know it's the closest thing to royalty they'll ever come by in their life. Okay, because a lot of people peak after their high school experience And they know that. They know that ahead of time. It's a bargain that they're willing to encounter or enter into because it's so good when you're a high school football player in the South, especially Jacksonville. So Friday Night Lights, that describes the high school football. And then Friday Night Fights are the boxing matches that go on under the stands during the high school football games. So that's why you see people coming up and down out of the stands so much. They might be getting a hot dog. They also might be taking a turn under the stands to watch the fights. Now, who's fighting? Well, you've got all of those players that didn't make the team. I mean, it's so important to make the team. And then what happens when you don't make the team? You're mad. And so what they do is they put those angry adolescents up against the same angry adolescents from the other team. I mean, it's brilliant. So now you got these guys like, I should have made the team, bang! And they hit the other guy, and the other guy's like, I should have made my team, bang! And the whole crowd is cheering down there. And in fact, the state has given them an allowance where they're able to make bets. You can do sports betting on high school boxing matches consisting of players that didn't make the football team and are mad about it. Now, you might think, well, don't they get some sort of second level status in high school for being on the boxing matches that go on below the stands? And the answer is yes, they do. And in fact, if you can get cut up pretty good, if you can get beat up pretty good but still win, I mean, that's almost like being on the football team, guys. It's that big of a deal. And anytime you're fighting for your school, you're going to get bonus points. In fact, the boxing has become so popular that now they're talking about opening up an entire third level of play. For example, let's say you didn't make the team, and you went out for the boxing matches and you didn't make that team. You didn't make the cut of the team of the players that got cut. You see what I'm saying? So they're talking about opening up a sort of a WWE wrestling matches just outside the end zones on each side of the football field. So what you would have is basically a mall or an entire camp of sports. I don't know how to describe it. It'd be like a park or an amusement park of high school sports, all going on at the same time. You'd have high school football, and the players that didn't make that team, they're boxing each other below the stands. And if you don't make the boxing match, you can do the 3WE style wrestling out in the field outside of the end zones, behind the stands on the end zones of the field. I mean. I mean, this is actually a pretty good idea that they've got going on in Jacksonville, and I'm surprised you haven't seen it before in other areas, guys. I mean, first of all, you're incorporating more players that didn't make the football team. You give them an alternative. Now you say, well, why don't they just go out for the basketball team? Come on, have you been to a high school basketball game? They're all like 9 feet tall. And those are players that became 8 feet tall when they were 6 years old. You have 8 feet tall. You have 8 feet tall 6-year-olds walking around. Okay, you know they're going to be a basketball star because they grow that last foot once they get into freshman year. They grow that last foot. But before freshman year, they're like 8 feet tall for most of their life, and they become a big star. They become a big star in 4th, 5th grade, and then they go into a high school career. So So if you're not 8 feet tall, what's for you? What's for you? Well, in Jacksonville they have the answer. So that's the second hidden gem. It's Friday Night Lights, Friday Night Fights, or vice versa. However you want to say it, as long as you have fun. All right, now the third hidden gem it goes back to my comment about the high school quarterback getting use of a free rental car for the year. Now, you might think that's kind of unusual because it smacks of payola or payoffs to amateur athletes to garner favor for whatever source, be it a university or be it a commercial venture or anything, any promise of a future gain like a job or better grades, right? Those would all be considered illegal. But now Jacksonville has an interesting history of the courts because they figure, hey, if you are that good at football, then there should be allowances made in the law to accommodate your talent. Why should you be penalized because you have this awesome talent? And so for that reason, they've expanded what's considered an okay trade for local car dealers to not only give you a free rental for a year, but they're also able to, quote unquote, donate vehicles to your parents and various family members. So you have local car dealers, some of whom have donated tens of millions of dollars worth of cars to family members of high school quarterback stars. Now, the truth is that these are not run-of-the-mill players. These are not run-of-the-mill quarterbacks, I should say. You have to be pretty good to garner a car donation to your mom and dad, right? But what's happening is sometimes the moms and dads are insisting that the sons, and there are some young women playing high school football these days, but for the most part, the quarterbacks are still guys. And some, you might say, unscrupulous parents are driving their sons to stay up at night practicing football throws, practicing blocking, doing calisthenics, throwing the medicine ball around the backyard. One set of parents was known to pay extra on their power bill just to have a giant Klieg light, a single Klieg light, bathing their backyard in light, much to the complaint of neighbors, but nonetheless, they were doing it so that their son could work another 5 extra hours after football practice on his own, very late into the night, like 2, 3 in the morning, and then getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to school the next day. Well, the reason they were doing that was they knew that the better that they played in high school, forget about college. They just knew that the better that their son played in high school, that they would be getting a better vehicle from a local car dealer. So in other words, if they had let's say they had a mediocre record, they probably could only get a Subaru or perhaps a mid-sized Toyota, nothing very sexy, right? Whereas if their son is nailing down passes every week and bringing home wins, bringing home W's, and therefore raising the status of the parents, they know they're going to get a Mercedes, a BMW, perhaps a G-Wagon or a Range. They're going to get a better vehicle. And so they drive their son hard to get the W so they can get a better car. But again, it's completely legal. So you just have to accept it as the culture, the way of life, an emphasis on sports. But on the flip side, it's a hidden gem because you are going to these high school you're going to these high school football games and you're seeing pro level players. Okay, because why should they be compensated? So you start giving a high school quarterback a free rental for a year of a black Trans Am with a gold eagle on the hood. They're going to turn in some stellar performances, some world-class high school football. So it's a win-win for everybody, and if you're a visitor, you have to check it out. Just go down to any high school football game, try to pick the teams that are doing well, and then when the quarterback comes out lacing 45-yard passes with every pass, with very few interceptions, very few drop balls, you're going to know why. It's because he knows he's got a brand new car waiting for him out in the parking lot. and the parents are driving around the city in G-Wagons. Well, that's hidden gem number 3. Now, number 4 on our list is, we're staying with the sports theme on this, because you have to remember Jacksonville is such a sports town, sports fanatics, and they go all out for sports. This is more of a participatory sport, and it's the Ping Pong Palace downtown. This is a geodesic dome that is 10 stories tall, inside of which are 8 stories of ping pong tables and games going on 24 hours a day. And the reason this is a hidden gem is that you can play too. These aren't just world-class players, although most of them are. But if you fancy yourself good at ping pong, this is something you got to try. Because I grew up playing ping pong. I know how to spin the ball. I know how to do drop passes. I know how to hit the end of the table, just nick it, where they aren't able to return it. I can hold the paddle like it's a pen. I can hold the paddle like it's a tennis racket. I've got the skills. I'm one of those players. I'm a very good amateur ping pong player and can probably beat you 99 out of 100 games. But the thing is, I don't care if you're the best player in your whole city. But once you get in front of international players that are at this Ping Pong Palace in downtown Jacksonville, you're going to get your butt spanked. All right? You're going to be red. You might as well get some sunblock for that red face, because you're going to be embarrassed by these players. But who cares? I mean, that's the thing. You want to go up against the best. And if you're not any good at all, I mean, it'll just be a laugh riot, because they've got an open bar. I mean, as long as you pay your admission to get in, you can drink as much as you want. And you probably want a couple cocktails if you're just terrible, because you're going to be laughing the whole time. You're going to be laughing about how bad you're getting spanked by these international players. So you say, well, wait, how many international level ping pong players are in Jacksonville? Guys, it has to be like 3,000 or 4,000. And the reason being that some of the ping pong masters in China that had to leave during some very difficult times in that country in the 30s and 40s, they came to Jacksonville. And they made their way through the Jacksonville economy. They opened businesses. They settled down, had children. Their children had children, and they were ping pong wizards. I mean, these are the kind of kids that would play ping pong on the school bus. They would set up their books into a makeshift table, and they'd be playing ping pong on the way to school at the age of 7. Kapow, 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 kapow. Back and forth, kaboom. And the other kids are cheering them on. And we're not talking just guys. It's guys and girls and even some of the dogs. Some of their dogs would get up there and play ping pong. I mean, you haven't lived till you went to the Ping Pong Palace and you watched a dog beating a cat 7 out of 8 games. A dog beating a cat 7 of 8 games in a ping pong tournament. And you think, well, the animals get to play for free, right? Because they're just animals. No, this is what you don't understand. The dogs and the cats, they have to pay. So that's why they wear vests. That's why they wear vests with pockets. Otherwise, where's a dog going to keep his money? So they wear those, those vests that some people put on their dogs. They put those on the dogs. Those, they're sort of, sometimes they're just decorative vests, but a lot of times they're like, emotional support animal vests, that kind of vest. Service animal vests. And some of them have pockets, and they put them on there, and the dogs are able to get out their wallet and either pay cash, or some of them have a debit card. Some of them have passports. I mean, I remember getting on a flight in San Francisco to Beijing, and I looked next to me, and there's a dog sitting there, and he's got his passport out, and he's just making sure they stamped it. Although he was the best cabin mate, than any human I've ever had. He just sat there the whole time. He never talked. He never put the seat back. He never made a noise. He just slept. And the reason being is that dogs sleep 15 hours a day. That's true. That's true. They do. So again, I don't know if I'm emphasizing this right. If you're a ping pong fan, if you're a ping pong player, you got to go down to the Ping Pong Palace because you're going to be able to go up against some of the best players in the world. You just got to get ready to be red-faced because they're going to beat you so bad. But as every good competitor knows, you only learn when you play the best. You gotta play players that are better than you. All right, and finally that's the number 4, I believe, and number 5, and let's close it out on this one. This is a great hidden gem. Now you might have heard of let's call them modern day driving ranges like Topgolf, and these are the kind of driving ranges that are more of a social. You could say that they're like super driving ranges for golfers, meaning they have couches, they have bar service, they have specially made balls that you can turn the driving range into almost like a video game where you keep score. If you've been to Topgolf, you know what I'm talking about, or just look it up on YouTube. Check out the videos of Topgolf. You'll kind of be amazed. It's a lot of fun. Well, now they have this place called Super Duper Golf in Jacksonville. Now this is a hidden gem because it's only one location. Now Super Duper Golf, it's like the way that Topgolf supersized a regular driving range. Super Duper Golf is a supersized version of Topgolf. See what I'm saying? So now you can drive your car right up to where you tee off. Okay, you don't have to park your car in a lot and then walk your clubs over. I mean, what kind of doofus does that? No, you drive your car right up to the tee box. Then you get your clubs out of the trunk, right? And then you're able to use your own clubs. Well, yeah, you can use your own clubs, but you don't get them out of the trunk. They have a caddy. You have a caddy at the driving range, and you get your own caddy who not only gets the clubs out of the trunk, they're going to clean your clubs after every shot, and they're going to get you drinks. It's like a caddy / waiter or a caddy / waitress. All right. They get guys and girls working these tee boxes. And there's your car right there. I mean, Super Duper Golf has taken it to a whole new level. And then you get your own personalized range balls that have a picture of your face on them. When you come in and pay your fee, they take a picture of you from the security cameras, they scan it, and they post it, they print it right on those golf balls, guys, and every time you tee up a range ball, you're looking at your own face. Now, if you want to, you can bring a picture of your boss, and it costs a little extra because you got to sign a release so they don't get into trouble, and they'll print a picture of your boss on your own range ball so that with every shot, you're smacking your boss in the face with a 9-iron. And I can think of 2 or 3 people that I would do this. How much? Let me call them right now. As soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to call Super Duper Golf right now and see how much that costs. Oh boy. So guys, that is the 5th hidden gem. It's Super Duper Golf. It takes the driving range to unbelievable levels of service and fun. And if you're in Jacksonville, you gotta check it out. You gotta go down there and get ready to have the most fun you've ever had in your life. And that is the end of our tour. Come on back. We got so many more videos on Jacksonville. We've extended Jacksonville another week. Usually we take 1 week per city, unless a city has so much going on that we can't cover it all. That happened with Denver, and now it's happening with Jacksonville. Believe it or not, Jacksonville. and we'll be covering them all week with some new videos. So come on back. We'll see you then.